Hi, this is Ernest Schmidt again, and I'm here with another anxiety quote and a few tips about managing anxiety and fear. So the quote today is another fun one. Basically, here's the quote. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's taking action even though you feel afraid. So this was attributed to several people, so I can't say for sure who originally brought on this quote, but I love the concept. It resonates with me personally. There's a big amount of shame and guilt that you feel when you feel afraid or anxious or insecure. And this quote is really saying that, in order to be courageous, you have to feel those things, but then do it anyways. And for many years, and most people that have anxiety, we avoid a lot of things that make us nervous. And that's a normal behavior of anxiety, but it makes you feel really ashamed, and it makes you feel, God, why can't I be strong enough to sort of fight through this? But when you finally do, and you're able to kind of face some of your fears, it really is the epitome of courage. And I love that example. I feel like it really helped me a lot. And then I use that theme to help clients who also feel, this small, they feel really insecure or anxious, and they feel incredibly ashamed of it. But this idea that is the way that you build your courage, is by feeling those things, but then doing it anyways. And maybe doing it in small steps is fine. But that's the concept, is not letting that shame stop you from moving forward. And actually, the amount of anxiety you feel is almost how much courage you have, right? So if you're really afraid of something and you do it, that means you have that amount of courage. And the other thing I like to think about, it doesn't matter what that fear is. For some people, it might be fear of public speaking. For other people, it might be asking someone else on a date. For someone else, it might be touching the garbage can. Someone that has maybe the germ phobia or OCD. So although one of those fears may feel like nothing to you and think, oh, I could do that in a heartbeat, it doesn't really matter what the people around you think of that fear. It's really about how much anxiety do you have, and if that's your Mount Everest. So if you're able to get over your fear, that's awesome. I mean, if you can truly have compassion for people that have anxiety, it doesn't really matter what it is. Everybody has their own fears. And it's just interesting. Sometimes you think, God, that would make me so afraid. But other things I really am not afraid of at all. So it's kind of cool to think most of us, even with anxiety, we have that courage in areas that it's not even courage, because it's just easy for us. But the areas that are really difficult for us, or really anxiety provoking, if we can actually conquer those things, that really is a testament to the amount of courage that we have. The last part of this that I like to think about is another kind of quote that goes with this, and sort of a coping tactic, is action cures fear. So it's a little strong to say that, but that's a big part of anxiety treatment, is what we call exposure therapy, or facing your fear, which most of you have heard. But it really is a fundamental piece of getting over your anxiety. If you truly want to face it, if you truly want to get over it, is do the action. So making sure that you're not letting the emotion of anxiety or fear stop you from making those steps. And whether you need support or not, it doesn't really matter to me. I think it's important to get the support you need and live the life that you want, the freedom that you want. Try not to let the shame and the guilt and the insecurity, or whatever anybody sort of says to you about your anxiety, stop you from seeking out the support. And then you'll be able to do it on your own. But this stuff is hard, and often you need a coach or a therapist to kind of help you with getting through that, facing that fear, or doing that exposure exercise, or what I said in this quote, doing that action that will ultimately cure or crush that fear. So hopefully that was helpful. I'll read the two quotes again, and then we'll wrap up. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's taking action even though you feel afraid. Action cures fear. Hope that was helpful, and be in touch. Thanks.